Now, hopefully the lighting is okay and my fat head doesn't get in the way too much. So, what I'll do is change over from the flat. Now, as you can see, when you hit understeer with a flat disc, it just absolutely destroys it. And I need a cutting disc. As I said, I don't use these that often, but this angle grinder is that loud that you need it. So, down with the noise. Now that left of that, there's your captive nut there. So what I'm going to have to do is make something like this. As you can see, that was just spinning, it split open. And there is not a lot left of that. Now what have we got in here? Not a lot. Now, does anyone want some genuine Irish Morris Minor rust or ginger dust? I'll be selling little baggies on eBay starting at 99p. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm after noticing here there's a kink up in the body. It looks like somebody tried to put it on a 2-post lift at some stage, so we're going to have to try and beat that back across so that the new section will sit in up on top of that. Now, I don't have specialist hammer and dolly tools or anything like that, so I know I've left that still attached. I have a reason that's still attached. It's quite funny because it feels like it's held on with glue tack. Really does, but yeah, you'll see my method behind my madness of why I'm leaving it here. So let's grab the hammer and beat it. Now I don't have a hammer and dolly set. That's my main go-to hammer, and I have this. Generally I use that as the flat face and that as a dolly. So hopefully we'll be able to knock some of this out. Just going to take these in there quickly, right? Look, that's all ginger dust. That all come out of that hole there. So now this bit here, what I'm going to do is when I take off the doorstep or whatever you want to call it, that's only on bolts, I'll tackle that from in behind. For right now I want to get this sorted. So as you can see as well, apologies for the light, you can see how well that edge is after tidying up. Now it needs a bit more work, but I'm quite happy with it as it is. And what we can do now is tidy off that and see if we can get a weld on that. So what I'll do is I'll cut the panel down like that and I'll fold it, I will fold it along this edge here. So we'll see how that goes. I think we'll call that done. Looks great, doesn't it? I'm only kidding. It's funny though, I have seen repairs like that done in the past. That's your basic template. So what we'll do is we'll go and find some steel and let's go making some panels. Right, don't know where I left you off the last time, but it's a week later. Now what I'm going to do is, we got this section here as a, I'm going to make a template of it and give it back to the owner, as we don't need to cut out that big of a section for that, because in behind it is quite solid. Now I will have to make up a little piece from there. As you can see, the Curust has done its work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this section out, I'm going to cut this out, and where are we? I'm going to cut probably all of this out, and we'll make up a couple of sections for that, and we'll get them tacked into place, and we'll call it there for a day. I don't want to keep these videos extremely long, as you know yourself from watching videos, you'll start getting bored with them. So I'll take you in and out, I'll show you how to make the little sections and stuff, and then you just basically repeat the process all along here. And then when on the next episode, I'm going to be tackling the front. So what I'll do is at the start of the next episode, I'll bring you in when this is all ready for paint, and we'll get a quick coat of paint on it, and then I'll move on to the front. Right, what I will say about these is there's not a lot of power in them, so if you go slow, they'll get the job done. So what we'll do is we'll crack off this here, and we will look at making a template of it, get it transferred over onto a bit of steel, get it cut out, get it tacked in, and you'll get the idea then for the rest of this, and we'll call this episode done. It's in there, hopefully you can see it. But, sorry, no. Can you see the original spot welds? Just starting to appear. At least that's what they look like. That is a bit of a nightmare. Once it's cut out and treated, it'll all be good. Now, as you can see, sorry now with the light, but from hitting it with the flap disc, you can see it there, it's starting to go. So sometimes when you think you have a small job, it turns into a massive one. But that's what car restoration is all about. Finding these things, cutting them out. Yeah, what I try and do is you don't see this as a whole project. You're looking at this as little sections and taking off the boxes as you go, because otherwise it's very easy to get overwhelmed with the job. I'm just going to take us in here just before I start doing the template. This is what I actually use for my steel. Now, it looks rusty. It's not. It's was originally a brown bonnet, but the steel in this is the same thickness as the Morris, so there should be no problems. And as you can see, there's a large surface area here, so you get plenty of panels. The panel that was cut out there, I think went into the 87. I can't remember offhand, and I've done another couple of patch panels as well. So what we'll do is we'll cut out this, and what I'll do is I'll bring you back in then when I'm folding the steel. Hopefully we get to use our new vise. So, right, so hopefully I have this pointed the right way. There's a piece of steel. Now just got it ground off all the paint. It's a rough cut, as you can see. There's a big bow here, but there's not here. That's this section here. So what we'll do first is we'll get the profile of it. I'm just going to move it across there. Hopefully as you'll see, you can see the difference there. So what we'll do is we'll bend her into shape, and hopefully then we'll be somehow ready then for doing our cuts and our folds. So a lot of body work and stuff that you'll do, you'll use your hands to do a lot of it. Now you can get machines for this, but if you take your time, you'll see that after a couple of minutes, you're basically just doing that ever so gently. And you don't want to fold it too much in one go, but give it little folds and it'll start to sit up into place. Now, if you want then at the edges, you can just grab the legs of these and just give it you can see that coming around hopefully. That was a little bit too much on the end. Now I did leave excess, and the reason I did leave excess is for the likes of any kind of little errors and stuff. So now, as you can see there, that follows that contour. So the hardest part now is going to be to mark basically where you want your fold line to be for this. So what we'll do is I'm just going to get a marker, which there should be one there. Now, this camera angle is going to be terrible, but so that's the edge that you want to keep. The easiest thing to do is just to measure. That done. Oh, have I? Yeah, I've that done wrong again. Jesus. Take 3. So you flip it around the opposite way. The mark. Bring it down to the bottom. As I said, I made this an awful lot longer on purpose. Down to the bottom, just mark that again. So there's your 2 marks for your fold lines. There's one there. Move it down. Sorry, there's one there. So I'll just get a straight edge because get your straight edge. There's your fold line. Well, this bit is here and that bit then is there. So what we'll do is I'm going to put a series of cuts along this and then start folding it over, and then we'll see if we can slowly get this into place. Now, I'll only be using about this much of the panel. As I said, I left excess, and I left excess here and here, just in case there was any little mistakes. Now, there we go. There's your cuts, and what you're doing is, because when you bend it, the metal is going to change shape. If I bent that now, that would straighten that edge. So with the cuts that are in that, it doesn't really matter how far they're apart or anything like that. Well, obviously if they're further apart, they're going to be harder to fold, but it just gives metal a chance to twist over itself. You'll see that when I lift these up, this gap here will close and probably overlap, and then we'll have to cut them again once it's folded. So if you grab a pair of multi-grips and just put them up on the line, we'll get our first fold in. Okay. You can see it there starting to fold now. See it? So if I get the second bit, so what you're doing is you're putting you're putting the grips up onto that. Now the line is rubbed off there because I only used whiteboard marker, but you can see then as soon as you push on that steel, now you can see already, you can see the overlap in them too. So you just keep doing that along that. Now I'm not going to time lapse just doing this or anything like that. I'll bring it back in and have it folded. Otherwise this video is going to be about 2.5 hours long. Now, if you look at that, you can see that starting to take shape. Now, what I'm going to say to you here is, I know you can't see me, but what I'm going to say to you is that took an angle grinder, pair of multi-grips, plumber's pliers, whatever you want to call them, and my hand to make that. Now, it's made out of an old bonnet, but as you can see, that's starting to take shape there, isn't it? You can see it's following the lines along here and that, and the fold is just about ready to get it welded up into place. So what I'll do is, trying to think now what way I'll do it. What I'll probably do is I'll start trimming back in a minute. Once I'm happy with how far this is in here. Now, as you can see, the panel actually stops there, but as I said, I left a load of excess in case there was any mistakes at all. Right guys, I'm just going to take this back in here. Now, as you can see, now this all has to be cut back a little bit here before you say it, and that'll push back up when you start welding. I think that looks pretty damn good. Right, I know I've held my hands up. I realised the length of this video and it's going to be way too long. So what I'm going to do in the next video, instead of tackling the front, is I'm going to, off camera, I'm going to put weld through primer, get that all trimmed back and stuff like that, and I'll get all the panels ready to weld in and to get the rear wheel arch section all buttoned up, so I'll get all the nasty stuff off. I want to stick on a few tunes and just get stuck into it. So catch us in the next one, guys, in the Morris. It'll probably be not this week, it'll be not next week, it'll be the week after the video will come out. I'll be doing stuff behind the scenes on it. The next video that you would see is going to be of Mickey. Also, I tried doing a QR code the last time. I have nearly 1,000 returning viewers. So if you smash the subscribe button, the QR code didn't work the last time, but it'll work this time. I'll flash it up on the screen now. And hopefully then that'll work. Just hit the subscribe button, costs nothing, give it a like, give it a comment down below. Love responding to all your comments, and catch us in the next one. Good luck.